tongue is numb, the current's clean. Your dog is dead, it's a Ponzi screen. Ponzi screen, because it's just something to do.
Oh God, I've had the worst acid reflux. I'm just like popping tubs like crazy the past few days. Just feeling good about myself.
Somehow that is completely unsurprising that you have acid reflux. I don't know why, but like you seem like an acid reflux guy.
Triple parentheses, acid reflux kind of guy.
Oh yeah, that would be it. Yeah.
So we have welcome to Ponzi Scream. My name's Dave. Danny's also been speaking.
What's up, guys?
Today we have
It's
Gabe.
Gabe
Gabe is here, and friend of the show, as always. Welcome back, Lucie Steiner. How's it going?
Hi. Hey, everybody. It's going pretty good. It's been super inspiring to read all these accounts of people having to wait 72 hours to vote. It really restores your faith in humanity. These inspiring stories.
Dude, people are waiting. It's like people are waiting longer than for legitimately than for like a release of a new Xbox at this point. Like,
yeah,
which is like absolutely a milestone. And I personally, it's horrifying. But the vote by mail states where where people are so afraid of voter fraud, it is just choice. The types of goofy voter fraud that the Republican Party is doing, where they're like, we put a ballot box here. Put your ballot in the ballot box.
It's just a paper shredder.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a label on it. Totally legitimate ballot box.
It's so cartoony.
Where you guys see a problem, I see a product. Now, I know what I'm going to do for the next voting season. I'm going to start selling sort of hang out here for 10-hour kits. It's going to come with a collapsible folding chair. We're going to have a bunch of hey, is your blood sugar low? Snacks. we're gonna sell water bottles that say that have big slogans on them about patience and persistence, and we're gonna have some comfortable orthotic shoes that you can buy while you wait in line.
A hang in there cat poster.
This country really doesn't understand. Our view of like what is legitimately like heartwarming has become so twisted. It's like, read this heartwarming story about this woman sold all of the blood in her body so that she could afford her mortgage payment.
This dry woman.
Heartwarming. This impoverished person couldn't vote, so Mark Zuckerberg appointed himself her candidate. Great.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like, dude, all those states, Georgia, any place in the South where they're just sort of like putting a fake facade of a voting place, and then like it falls down like a Wile E. Coyote situation. Like, you got to go into that like you're trying to get Radiohead tickets. Like, bring a foldable chair. Bring a chair.
Or like it's Black Friday, like be ready to just like throw fists, like if you need to. I feel like that happens. People like get stampeded all the time on Black Friday, or there's just so many 72 hours. Like, I'm willing to skip my family's Thanksgiving dinner so I can get a 65-inch flat screen TV at 25% off. Like, that is the American way. That's the persistence that we need. And this ad was brought to you by Best Buy.
Well, you know what? I think Black Friday is actually corporations trying to divide and conquer the working class, because we have this narrative that it's only extremely sort of greedy people that go out on Black Friday after Thanksgiving dinner. But I think that it's because they're offering these cut rate discounts that people who desperately can only afford these products at that rate sacrifice time with their families and solidarity to go, because they need that. This is the only time they can do it. So it's unethical for these companies to sort of dangle this carrot right at the one time where people are feeling the most together.
That's true. That's true.
That's
Yeah.
my take on it. Is that it's a nefarious plot to keep us alienated from each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you convinced me. Gabe outwoked me. All right, we got it. So let's cut to the chase. Today we're talking about some really awesome stuff. This is just going to be the juiciest stuff in the wake of the president almost dying of coronavirus. I still think he's going to. Last week I said that I think he's going to die. He still has a lot of time. I think that he's going.
He still has a lot of time to die.
He still has a lot of time to die. I think he's gonna die on Halloween. I think the witches, like all in your that you see on Instagram, they are going to like cause his death, and I hope that happens. And
Worst Bond movie. A lot of time to die.
Yeah,
a lot of time to die. Yeah.
The director's cut extended edition.
Yeah.
James
David R. Broccoli.
James Bond sits in a retirement facility just watching TV. A lot of time to die. He's just
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about something equally salacious as the president dying and as voter fraud systemically. We're going to talk about municipalities, municipal finance.
Put in a horn right here.
Yo, you thought Pornhub was sexy. Well, check out how this city finances itself.
Oh, I like to think that, Danny, whenever you say while we're recording that you're going to put something in that you just never do. And that's just the sound effect is the effect of Danny saying, I'm going to put something in right now. It's happening. It's happening.
You don't, David, you don't even know the fun that I have in editing. I'm going to, right now, I'm going to change my voice.
Now it's different. Now my voice is different.
Now it's back. Now your voice is different.
Ah!
Now it's back. Now it's back.
Now it's back. Okay, I hope so. I'm going to just sound
now
like
it's different again. Now it's back.
I'm just gonna sound like I have helium for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
So the first story I think we should talk about is this story from The Intercept by Rebecca Burns. She's a frequent contributor therein. Fed lending saved corporate America. It could do the same for cities and states. So the article is essentially talking about how the CARES Act gave out very low interest loans to corporate America, to the airline industry, to the cruise industry, who, all three of us will be working there in 5 years because our comedy career sucks. And,
Yes.
all sorts of just like, these are the essential services that got these very low interest rates, while the cities, the local municipalities where people work, those got, much, much, much higher loans. So one interesting little tidbit is, Illinois is just one of the two public borrowers to make use of the Fed's municipal lending facility through a 3.83% interest rate bond that must be paid back within a year. Okay, 3.8.
That's impossible. Why would you? That is some, and of all the states, Illinois, just like the famously uncorrupt, like literally where Ron Blagojevich was the governor, like that place. Why?
Not good.
Yeah.
Where Sufjan Stevens abdicated his responsibilities to the American
Yes.
people. And then, so then there's also, on the other hand, right, looking at the terms of a bond for Philip Morris creates one of all of our favorite delightful packages of cigarettes and the like, got a 0.75% interest loan. Okay? So, and look, Illinois has a very bad credit rating, right? It's like just above junk status. I'm sure Philip Morris makes plenty of money, and I'm sure they do very well. But states and municipalities have already laid off or furloughed more than 1.5 million public sector workers over the course of the pandemic. Okay? That means laid off public sector workers are 20% more likely to be black than those in the private sector. And also, here's some extra factoids from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. In 2019, the union membership of public sector workers was 33.6%, which is 5 times higher than the rate of private sector workers. Okay, so the people who are getting fired, also, black workers remain more likely to be a union members than white, Asian, or Hispanic workers. Okay, so the people who are losing their jobs are black union members. The highest.
Yeah.
Like, so you think about who it is. It's going to be like MTA operators. It could be like teachers. It could be nurses at if it's a municipally run hospital like Kings County Hospital. So this is all just hurting these people in particular.
Thinking creatively here, right? Philip Morris gets this low interest loan, which clearly they deserve. But what if, I mean, at this point, should corporations like Philip Morris just be the states? Like, is there a way for them to sponsor Illinois so that they could get in on this a little bit?
Yeah, it'll be like when basketball players' jerseys. They just now got one little teeny logo, like right over here. You know,
what you guys are talking about is just charter schools, right?
But for the whole state, for the whole state,
we're gonna charter out. Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah, dude! Philip Morris bridges.
Yeah.
Philip Morris cops would be cool. I must say, Philip Morris cops would be chill.
The capital of Philip Morris, because the state will be called Philip Morris now. Mm-hmm. The capital of Philip Morris will be Cigarette Land, right? And we'll just do it that way.
It would be really awesome if it just like forced all the cops to just be constantly smoking. Like they're always smoking, and one guy's like, "I'm on clove duty."
Yeah, like the thin blue line is just like a cigarette in the middle. You know?
Yes. This was an interesting article for me because I think it broke down some facts that I constantly forget, which is that while we always talk about how the federal government is this thing that can kind of just make money if it needs to, like in modern monetary theory it can do that if it want. States, not the case. you have to balance a budget every single time. So when Donald Trump or Barack Obama or George W. Bush is like, we got to have a balanced budget in the federal thing. That is sort of like a mushy matrix thing, where it's like you can bend that. But they physically run out of money in individual states.
Yeah, they just do that. Also, the loans that they're getting you have to spend that. Like, who is paying that off? It is taxpayers who are paying off these interest rates. Like, because money exists and we are getting crappy loans with crappy interest rates, we are spending, let's see, if this is from the article, the advocacy group Action Center on Race and the Economy estimates that U.S. cities and states spend a cumulative $160 billion annually just on interest payments to banks and bondholders, thanks to high borrowing costs. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we are literally just paying the banks, like all those state payroll taxes that you pay to live and work in New York City. That is all just going to banks and private bondholders. Pretty cool.
Yeah, you're paying one Jeff Bezos per year. Just to remind people. He is probably worth more like $180 billion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty offended that you would mischaracterize his wealth like that, Danny.
Wait. Also, you're talking about how we're just paying off interest. There was a fairly controversial thing with the MTA in New York. I think over the last 3 years, where it was basically that, where they I believe the governor or the state was basically like, yeah, we'll fund the MTA, and it's going to be through these incredibly ridiculous loans, and it made it so it was almost illegal to not do it that way. So it's you had to constantly just be paying off interest. It would be the equivalent if a bank was just sort of here, have a bank account, but also you have to have a $1,000 in debt at all time, like at all time. So
Fucking hell.
yeah, it gets really nefarious to a point where it's like, why is this illegal?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you see these like I don't know if you guys have seen tweets like this where someone's like, I took out student loans for $46,000 after making payments $300 a month for 10 years. I now owe $47,000 in student loans. Like, people just the interest rates on this sort of stuff are usurious, right? That's the biblical term.
Whoa!
That's the
Ooh.
biblical
Ooh.
term. Yeah. Oh yeah.
$10 word. David alert. David alert.
What is this, MPI?
Yeah. Anyways, one of the things that it kind of talks about is because of the CARES Act having such egregiously offensive interest rates for states and municipalities, the states and municipalities are having to reach out to bondholders in the private sector, which means that shareholders and creditors in the private sector are now having leverage over the state and municipal governments, which will also in further dictate the terms on how they operate.
Sounds like the
right?
financialization of municipal governments.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude, hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, one thing that I found like kind of annoying about this article, not annoying, respect. It was like it was like well reported. But there's one sentence that I thought was a little misleading. This is it says, unlike the federal government, most states must balance their budgets. That means that their options are limited to begging the federal government, borrowing on Wall Street, and gutting services, or taxing the rich, folks.
Yeah.
It doesn't. They did not. They just like skipped that little part. Like the state can also raise money. They can make they can do these things.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think we across the board should be taxing the rich more. But like, who is like the Jeff Bezos of Illinois? Like, is he?
Oprah, right? I mean,
Does she live in Illinois?
at one point, didn't she? Or am I?
No.
Take her money anyway.
No, she lives in Santa Barbara, California. It's like one of the richest places in California. It's right next to a college. Ooh, I can't remember it, but it was also really famous when the rioting was happening because all the white people were freaking out when like a couple teens were breaking into the like Louis Vuitton store.
Okay, the leaders of Illinois need to go to California, kidnap Oprah, say put her on a kangaroo court, say you have been found guilty of what do you call it when somebody moves and they take all their wealth and success with them?
Capital
drain.
flight.
Capital flight.
Yeah.
You have been found guilty of capital flight, and then charge her whatever seems fair for the state of Illinois. I'm not saying kill her. Don't kill Oprah. I'm just saying you
don't have to kill her.
Guest host Lucie the Tanky Steiner coming on.
Yeah.
How about
I like
you pay taxes to the state where you made your income? When we looked at capital in the 21st century, that was the solution that they had for people who had tax shelters in other countries, was you should pay a percentage of your income, taxes based on the income. Right? So if she makes all her money in Chicago, you got to pay it in Chicago. Forget Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Oh, who also I'm just thinking of entertainment vehicles that are based out of Chicago. I think Jerry Springer is based out of Chicago.
Yeah. Take Jerry Springer's money.
Yeah. Win Jerry Springer's money. He I think that whole he went to, I don't know why I know this. He went to Northwestern Law School, and he was actually the mayor of a small town in Illinois.
What?
Yeah, he was.
What?
Look it up, folks.
He was
the mayor of a small town.
A vibrant Democrat politician.
I just imagine him as mayor, like solving every petty dispute in that town, Jerry Springer style.
Yeah, he got defrocked because he wrote a sex worker a check. That's how he got in trouble.
Oh man!
Oh my
God! Can you imagine just being like, God, I don't know whose turn it is to do the dishes. Someone call the mayor and he'll solve this dispute. Like, just any sort of petty. It's just like this guy's the most, over correcting. What's the word I'm thinking of? Over involved.
Micromanaging.
Micromanaging.
Every time they call
Yeah.
the mayor, he wheels out the whole set, and they
Yeah.
do a Jerry Springer set.
He just-
Yeah. I feel like getting a check from Jerry Springer as a sex worker is like one of the most like the biggest thought experiments in like just sort of not fraud but like questionable intention, because it's like you're getting handed a check and you're like, but it's from him. He has to be good for it. He's just really old fashioned. He's just very dumb.
Wait a minute. Did the check bounce? Is that part
So
of the story?
Springer was elected to the Cincinnati City Council in 1971.
Cincinnati.
He resigned in 1974 after admitting to soliciting a prostitute. The episode was uncovered when a police raid on a Fort Wright, Kentucky massage parlor found a bad check from Springer that the parlor had pinned to the office wall for services rendered.
It was bad.
God.
It was bad because it didn't have his name. It just said Jerry.
That's very good.
That's wild, man. Good for him. I'm glad. You know what? Like, I want like Rod Blagojevich and all these little sex pest politicians to get their own daytime TV show. That's what they really want, anyways. That's all they want.
Yeah, you're just a sex worker with one of those like like credit card swiper things. Yeah.
That sounds cool. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I guess, tax the rich, do the right thing. I just really like, this just reminds me of Cuomo when he was saying like, I talk to billionaires 3 times a day and they say they can't afford to move. It's like, he's like, they can't afford new taxes because then they'll move. And the same governors who are, beholden to the financial class because shareholders are their creditors, for example, will be speaking to to the financial class more often for donors as well to keep that system going, which incentivizes them to not tax the rich, because then that's going to allow their creditors to take out more high-end, to take out more loans against the state, when the state could just, get the money directly through revenue instead of having to borrow it.
They don't even know how much fucking bread costs. I swear to God, I've been delivering to so many goddamn NYCHA buildings, New York City Housing Authority buildings.
Yeah.
And those places, those people are living in places that look like a combination of a jail and a 1950s men's bathroom, and they are doing fine. All right. And it's I swear to God, elevators that come every 10 minutes, and you have a person who's worth $100 billion being like, I just don't know how I wouldn't be able to spend $25 on a sandwich. I just don't know. I don't know.
If you taxed them, if you increased their taxes and then just gave them a compliment, they wouldn't notice the difference. Like if you just raised taxes on them and then said, you're the bravest boy in East Hampton. You have such a virtue. I love you. I kiss you. And then just take a little bit of extra money from them. And nothing in their lives would materially change. Apparently that's actually that Biden quote that gets so often used against him on the left, which is like, Biden, Joe, nothing will fundamentally change Biden. But what he was saying was, we are going to tax the rich to the point that nothing in their lifestyle will fundamentally change. And that is true. The state could make a lot of money without changing these people's lives.
You can do
Yes.
that. Yeah.
You can do that very comfortably.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I delivered a package to Michael Bloomberg the other day.
What?
And
What?
yes. Yeah, spoiler alert, you can't get very close to his house without a unmarked guard coming up to you.
Where's his house? The Upper East Side?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I know
Right
it.
next to Central Park. Yeah.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know what it was? Did you shake it just to...
It was a letter of some sort. But I don't think I think it was like, oh my gosh, the person, ugh. I'm not gonna go into the details of this person, but she was a pain in my rear to pick up that letter from. Wow. Such strong. Wow. Wow.
Did she make you? Did she make you sign an NDA?
No.
I feel like whenever you get like within like 70 yards of rich people, they make you sign an NDA of some sort.
You can't get close. You can't get close. I got up to his house, and it wasn't even. There was no address for like. It didn't say like Bloomberg on like the apartment or townhouse or whatever it was. I just got to the door, and I was like, "What?" And then a guy was just like, "Can I help you, sir?" And I was like, "I'm in the right place." You know.
I once edited. I was made to sign an NDA, so I have to be a little bit careful. But I
nice.
I once edited the wedding video for a certain rich person who may or may not be at the center of a lot of conspiracies on the right.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
Yes.
And it was like, I was like, I was just like watching this. It was like this huge 3-day event, whereas like the wedding itself lasted 3 days. And like they just like had it. They just had like the whole Museum of Modern Art, for it. They had like the it was this like incredible display of extravagance. And I was just like, I can't imagine like if you sliced a little bit off the top of this that anything would fundamentally change. Like it's you could, it's like. There's just and yeah, like go ahead, like I feel like that's a great idea. Tax them a little bit more, and then just like build them all statues or something.
Yeah,
right. Like and, like just surprise them with statues.
Yeah,
and then just take their money because it's like they won't notice. Like they're swimming it. They don't live in like it's not even like it's hard to even call it reality what they're living in. Like it's an alternate reality.
Yeah.
No, it's not reality. It's really not. Yeah, like I like this idea. My girlfriend and I have talked about this. I may have mentioned it on the podcast before, but once a monopolist controls the market enough, you just nationalize it.
Yeah,
and then you just give them a holiday. Like
right.
You just like, okay, October 23rd is Jeff Bezos Day, and Amazon is now run by the federal government, and we get all its profits.
Yeah, they're like, congratulations, you have effectively won the railroad industry. Here's your ceramic bust.
and give us all of your money. Like you lost. Yeah, you just get to start over, invent your new thing. Yeah, that'd be nice. But unfortunately, they have to like take out all these loans from high interest loans from the federal government or lower interest loans, but with weird, kind of like punitive. Leverage from private bondholders and creditors. That's okay. That's municipal lending. Moving on to the next cool thing that we're talking about today, salacious stuff, bribery in municipal utilities. So this is from ProPublica. By Patrick Wilson from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. So there are, Patrick goes through quite a few different scandals wherein privately owned utilities have been engaging in open bribery of state officials in order to get more favorable legislation for them.
I love a BuzzFeed corruption listicle.
That's really what they've pivoted. Initially, they were just telling you what kind of cool pants to buy, and now they're just like, guess who's been fucking over the American people?
Yeah, we have the P-tape, folks. That's
yeah.
But BuzzFeed's like, we're gonna show you the president's dick. That's just, that's their brand now, and it's cool. I mean, I'm happy for it. So ProPublica talks about a few interesting stories. We got Ohio, Illinois, New Orleans, Mississippi, and South Carolina. The coolest states in the union. Illinois,
nice.
Definitely, love the corruption that's going on there. So then we have in Ohio. So basically, this is that some prosecutors allege that First Energy, the utility company, and a reminder, all of these companies, all of these utility providers, oftentimes are, well, they all are private. They're all privately owned. Okay.
Okay.
Which means that this is going to get a little funny. This is going to sound funky. They are private companies in the sense that they are not government owned, right?
Correct.
But they are
okay.
but they are publicly owned companies in the sense that they have shareholders who can buy their stocks on the stock market.
Yes. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They're they're like McDonald's is not owned by the government, though maybe it should be. But it is, you can buy stocks in McDonald's. These okay.
Big Macs for all.
Big Macs for all. We need to
the best slogan for any like water municipality should just be over 1 billion served. That's like perfect.
Oh.
That's really that's good.
That'd be good.
Somebody write me a check. Jerry, write me a check over here.
So that's the thing, is that they also have a lot of these utility providers have over the decades set up relationships such that they have basically a monopoly in the area in which they operate. None of us could choose to have a different utility provider easily in New York City. So stuff like that. So that those sorts of relationships happen all over the country. So, and we all know when there's a privately held monopoly, that naturally breeds good things. So,
oh yeah.
So authorities allege that First Energy, which is the company, contributed $60 million to a group overseen by Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Hold on.
That's a fake
Mr.
name.
Landlord. Mr. Landlord. That's right.
That is like it's like when you have like a bad employee from the witness protection program working for you.
Yeah.
And they're in charge of making up your new name, and they're just like, how about Bill House Man.
Bill House. Bill didn't do crimes.
Yeah. Jerry Innocent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Do you guys have that thing where it's like, if the name that you have predicts the career that you're gonna have? We've talked about this before on the podcast. Larry Householder. Anyways, everyone, this has been like the 5 o'clock open mic at Karma Lounge. Larry Householder. In exchange so Larry Householder received $60 million in exchange for his help passing legislation that provided a $1 billion bailout of 2 failing nuclear energy plants. Yeah, baby. That bill also reduced standards for renewable energy and energy efficiency programs that save customers money. Okay, why is it that we cannot just like retrofit these houses to make things more energy efficient? Why can we not really get renewable energy to break into the municipal sector in a robust way? Because they are constantly being locked out by these municipal utility providers, especially energy efficiency programs. What incentive would you ever have as a for-profit utility provider to have people spend less money on utilities?
It's I got nothing.
Yeah, you're not going to do that. Like,
yeah,
it's fundamentally one of those things where they will constantly do everything they can to keep these people locked out. It's kind of one of the same things with like, there's a few other. We talked about this, I think, with oil and some other sort of natural resource.
Well, it's
or
like
fossil fuel.
oil and plastic recyclables, because there's no need for there to be an actual robust recycling economy. When oil producers want to keep, it's more profitable for them to keep cranking out new plastic.
That's what it was. Thanks. 2 minds. And that's exactly what it is. So all of these things are to the detriment of the customer, right? Prosecutors have charged Householder with racketeering. So the House Speaker got charged with racketeering. First Energy has not been charged. Okay, I want to just the complaint says that the company helped the politician win the speaker's office and put the payments into a nonprofit organization called Generation Now.
Generation Now, give me my money.
A similar thing happened in Arizona. There was another group called Save Our Future Now. These are you fucking kidding me?
These people are big fans of the word now.
Yeah. These people had to have worked in the Obama administration. I mean, or at least the branding people did, right? Like, I don't know. I say whatever you want to say about the political differences between the House Speaker of Ohio and the Obama administration. These nonprofits are the exact same aesthetic, the exact same thing. It's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
it's just utter I think this is the word pablum. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Does the word pablum itself mean nothing?
That's a really good question.
I mean, these words are just meant to evoke an image of just the most random stock footage edit you've ever seen in your life of just a girl waving a pinwheel and then a nuclear explosion, but it's inspiring for some reason.
Yeah,
when it's in the commercial.
These are the things that people do in pharmaceutical commercials when they're listing off the externalities.
No, you Lucy, you hit on a vein there. That every fucking utilities company has a banner photo of a small girl with a pinwheel. They are always implying that wind or some sort of renewables in part of their situation, but it's really just them shoveling just children into a furnace for energy,
Pablum is a processed cereal for infants, originally marketed and co-created by the Mead Johnson Company in 1931, and it comes from the Latin word pablum, which means foodstuff.
Ironically, probably made by one of these companies.
Right. And it's made out of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Bland and insipid intellectual fare. Pap.
All right. Nice.
Okay, well, we all learned something now. So
we have learned.
We truly are Generation Now.
Start today.
So in Arizona, this was all basically the company gave millions. The Arizona Public Service gave millions to quote dark money organizations in 2014 to help elect 2 state regulators. So these are elected office holders to be regulators of, I assume, the state utilities, right? And these were the names were Save Our Future Now. The candidates won, and in 2017 voted for a utility-backed rate increase. Utility-backed rate increase. Yeah, your prices are going up. Your
guys are going up.
Your prices are going up. That's all it really is. And yeah, that's some nice stuff. That's Arizona. Next one we have Illinois. This were indirect payments through third parties and a consulting company to associates of the Speaker of the State House of Illinois, I believe. The company is Commonwealth Edison. Okay, House Speaker Michael Madigan is the Democrat. As a reward for legislative efforts to help the utility, they are arranged jobs, some subcontracts, and payments for the associates of the House Speaker. This is some Democrat shit, I must say. This is some
sure.
The Democrats give people jobs. The Republicans just give people money.
Yeah, there's it's been actually sort of the slow evolution over the period of the 20th century, where at the beginning of the 20th century, you would have people like Jimmy Walker, New York's mayor in 1929, having a ledger where one of the line items would be Mr. Archibald Hufflings, $100 for crime. It would just be written on there. But as we sort of progressed throughout the 20th century, it turned into Stanley Hubbard consultant fee,
Yeah.
or what have you. And that's just that. Yeah, it's very Demi for them to do that.
Yeah. So basically, once they got these consulting company gigs, the recipients, quote, performed little or no work for ComEd. All right. They didn't do anything. So consultants not doing anything. Oh my God, no way.
Also, that's some real thought crime calling it ComEd. Like, please, as a Consolidated Edison,
Well, it's Commonwealth Edison. This was Commonwealth. Not
I hate that. I hate it. Call it Con Ed. Call it Con Ed. I hate it.
So basically, the utility sought the House Speaker's support for legislation to keep favorable utility rates for the company high. That's what in parentheses, favorable utility rates for the company means high utility rates. Okay, it became law, and the estimated benefit to Commonwealth Edison was more than $150 million, baby.
Yeah, it's also important to remind everybody, you can't get utilities another way.
Yeah.
You can't. There's not a guy trying to go into the Bull Run watershed outside of Portland, Oregon with like a bunch of PVC, just like, I'm going to put my own pipes in. Like, you have to use these.
There's one set of wires, one set of pipes. I always found it weird when people would knock on my door and ask me if I wanted to switch my energy provider. And I was like, is this a scam?
Yes.
How do you even
Right.
know what verifies you? You could be just some dude off the street with like a laminated badge that, why would you want to change? How can you verify? They should all be nationalized.
Yeah, and it's all for profit too, which is a kind of the most upsetting thing. This happened in California with kind of a similar double negative feedback loop, wherein all of these forest fires, especially the one I think in like 2017, the Camp Fire was caused by some sparks from the utility provider in California. I think it was PG&E,
Correct.
and basically the issue is PG&E faces two potential class action lawsuits. They can either get sued by the Attorney General of the state of California for their negligence in causing the Camp Fire, okay? Or they can face a shareholder derivative action lawsuit, getting sued by their shareholders for not making them enough money. And
God.
I mean, these are like, so if they got sued by the state and had to fork over this money, then they are just going to have to get double hit by the shareholders as well, because the shareholders are going to have to pay for that as well. And then they're going to
have.
so it's like you have to. The shareholders are either, so what PG&E can do is either one of two things: either raise utility prices, that way they don't have to cut into shareholder profits, or keep utility prices at a stable level, and that way they don't get a lawsuit, and then cut into shareholders' profits. It's putting placing the shareholders against the public is the owners of the utility against the public. Fundamentally, always the managers, the utility providers will always side with the owners, with the shareholders.
Yeah, they looks like, and this was from the Washington Post. PG&E reaches $13.5 billion settlement with California wildfire victims, below of which is a picture of a man just standing on rubble, just like,
Yeah.
he's going like this. He's going like, my house. Ah.
Right.
That's what yeah.
They
Just-
can't even get him to do they're like, can you just stand there for a second solemnly and just look into the camera?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
my house is burnt to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
And as long as it's a profit-driven system, they will always have to raise utility prices on the dude who lost his house in a fire in order to pay for the utilities to be rebuilt in his house, to his house, that he lost through no fault of his own.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you have the privilege of being kissed by cleansing fire, having your life started anew.
You're right. He is. Yeah, the privilege of the privilege of the phoenix.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes.
have you guys like been as disturbed as I've been? Like I've noticed this like uptick in like real estate and like kind of like real estate commercials that are like kind of playing into the crisis, right? And it's just like we've all been reminded how important having a home is. It's like, people need a roof over their head. That's true.
Oh, those Zillow commercials.
I mean, just everything. I feel like everything that's involved in real estate has just become super like just shoving the desperation down people's throats.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
it's like, you know.
And in California, it's also a big problem because real estate runs that state. Absolutely. Right. You know, like as long as you get a real estate, and in New York City, it's the same thing. As long as you get real estate backed politicians, they are never going to have real estate be held liable for a fire as well. Like real estate is going to continue to build into these fire risk zones and never face any consequences whatsoever. The only people who are going to pay are the average citizens, the utility rate payers.
Yeah.
Here's a fun. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I was just daydreaming about how interesting it would be to have like a cleansing fire just go right through the meatpacking district, like a wildfire.
Nature is
one of the biggest industries
yes.
in New York, fire insurance. So how about that?
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Get into that grift.
Okay, yeah.
Whoa, wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, maybe that could be a little side hustle for Ponzi Scream. So, anyways, the next one is New Orleans, which is a classic example of municipal success. The utility
no public schools. No public schools.
No public schools. Entergy is the utility regulated by the New Orleans City Council. They wanted to...
Entergy?
Yeah.
You're right. I agree. It's a dumb name. It's really...
Is it? It's supposed to be... it's kind of suggesting enter the energy.
I think it's like enterprise and energy together.
Let the energy enter you.
How much are these fucks getting paid to come up with these names?
We're just really mad at the brand consultants. All of us.
How do you get this job?
So
I mean, it is fun to imagine a classic Bayou man just like, I'm just a simple water man, don't you know? Maybe I could concern you with a lovely tall glass of the good stuff.
So Entergy wanted to build a natural gas plant. Okay, there are community advocates and critics to it that said it was unnecessary. There's an environmental threat to the area, but to create the appearance of support, a subcontractor for the utility in 2017 paid people to appear and speak at a city council meeting, posing as citizens favoring the plant. Okay? They're like Trump supporters at the most recent rally. Like just plants, people just getting paid to be supportive of this political cause that is only helping, corporate America.
That's all those guys in those city council meetings just sound like podcast people with the sponsors who accidentally read out the parenthetical notations on the copy they're supposed to read. Just like, I disagree with the add in parentheticals, add in flair to understate how much you dislike your municipality here at the underwear company. You know, it's completely astroturfed.
Oh, completely astroturfed. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Sorry.
It's one of the more creative things they could have done. But go ahead, Lucy.
Yeah, no, like I honestly wish that like all of these people who think like every time they see like an actual large scale grassroots protest, like it's like when every time they see that they're like, oh, this is fake. These people are being paid to be here. The more conspiracy minded people, I always wish I could just nudge them a little bit more, like, in the right direction. It's like, because it's like, no, this is happening, but it's like, these aren't the people doing it. Like, they're over here.
I'm saying in the future we can just CGI people. I'm sure there's an app that I can get on my phone where I can take a photo of like 5 people and then just have all those people get like Where's Waldo replicated around, so I can take a picture of the 3 of us or 4 of us together, and like, boom, have like 15 Danny Felts peppered throughout the photo.
Yeah, me, a bunch of
and
me.
then just change the color of the hat on each felt, and be like, nope, those are all just.
That's a great idea.
Those are all fans of this new energy conglomerate.
Yeah, generally the like conspiracy theories on the right are just like a funhouse mirror of bona fide Republican conspiracies. Right. Like, yeah. It's and I think that this is kind of one of them. Like, the people always accusing like Soros astroturfing is like, well, they just came up with that idea because they themselves
do that.
Products of
that.
Yeah. They just think that everyone is as nefarious and shitty as them. So, then there's another one with Mississippi, this Southern company. They wanted to have a clean coal plant, but then the cost went really, really high because apparently clean coal isn't a real thing. It doesn't actually exist.
What?
I was shocked. And so after that happened, the company's stock dropped and shareholders filed a class action lawsuit. It keeps happening. If they fuck up in any way, veer from the profit motive, shareholders are going to file a lawsuit immediately. Like, these should not be profit-seeking companies. This is not like, this needs to be decommodified wholesale. There's no other way to fix this problem.
Right.
Yeah, and then like the municipalities where it isn't private, it's just a public thing. There's just like problems like that just don't come up. Like, I think it's Philly. Philly's water is a public thing, and it's just like, it's difficult to pay them, and not in a way where it's like, oh, I can't get into their billing system. It's like, no, they don't want your money. Like, it's like, it's just not an issue.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So then there was this in South Carolina. There's one more. Federal authorities charged a utility executive with fraud over a failed nuclear proposal. Basically, cheap natural gas, construction flaws, plus lower than expected electricity demand threatened the project. So people didn't consume enough electricity, and that threatened the project. Don't we want to be, like, in the era of climate change, don't we want to be using less electricity?
Everybody turn on your hair hair dryer right now.
There's like a dad from a sitcom who's just like just furiously ruining these projects all over the country by telling their kids to turn off the lights in every room.
Put on a sweater, god damn it.
Yes, put on a sweater. Turn off the why you have the TV on.
No, that seems like a perverse incentive. Sure, yeah.
Sure,
yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. And yeah, so anyway, so the thing is that prosecutors allege the executive misled the public and state regulators about why it was delayed, basically allowing them to obtain some rate increases to hold them over. The plant was eventually canceled in 2017, but electricity customers have paid $2 billion for the failed proposal. Okay. All right. It was a failed proposal, and we still had to pay for it.
Nice.
Pretty sick. And then the last one, this came out yesterday. If we're recording, we're recording on the 13th today. This is from The Intercept again. The Alaska Republican Senator Dan Sullivan was just caught openly having a little bit of a too cozy of a relationship with this copper company, this controversial Alaskan mining project. It might take him down, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it might actually take him down. So there were some journalists who posed as potential investors in this Pebble mine this controversial Alaskan mining project that is disfavored by the Alaskan public on like 2-1. Like really, they really hate it. And Dan Sullivan has always been kind of neutral on it, and it just came out that he was secretly trying to go around the EPA and get the Army Corps of Engineers to approve it. It was such a bad and environmental disaster that even the Army Corps of Engineers were like, "You can't do this." Like it was the Army. It was so bad. The Army Corps of Engineers said it wasn't good. That's I don't know. I can just say the same sentence twice, right? Like
to be fair, it's very hard to get cozy in Alaska. I would think that's a very it's a very cold state, and if this man has found a partner with this copper company, anyone you could find to cuddle up with at the end of the day in Alaska is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of trying to scam or grift people in Alaska. 'Cause you're just physically so far away from the regular United States. Like
Right.
you could just be like, "Oh, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm so sorry. I'm just so far away."
I thought everything was legal here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's why
Exactly.
you move there. You know.
It's like the fresh start for murderers.
Dude,
Like divorcees move to Seattle, murderers move to Alaska.
Dude, when I lived in the Pacific Northwest, we had a ton of Alaskans moving down to Seattle and Portland, and they're the worst people. Oh, they drunk drive constantly. It was all my Alaskan friends were like, I just got out of the bar. Let's fucking run over a kid. Like,
I would totally do that too if I lived in Alaska. No doubt about it.
It's because nobody fucking lives up there. They can just drive on. They can drive drunk and they'll just hit a moose. Like literally.
Nobody lives up there, and there's nothing to live for up there. So why not just go out in a blaze of glory?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know. Like, why not? Let's just like fuck it. Let's drive drunk and vote for Palin. I don't know. Like what else are we gonna do?
They're
What is
wild,
this
dude.
What is this bitch shooting mooses from her fucking helicopter?
Yeah.
That's vote for
That's
her.
freedom.
Yeah.
That's freedom.
So I think that this guy who is, he's actually technically an independent, but he might, he's probably going to caucus with the Democrats, and he's been endorsed by the DSCC. I think he has a pretty strong chance of winning, which is kind of insane for how conservative Alaska is otherwise. And so I guess that's kind of a good note. That's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah.
That's fun. Hey, that's fun.
Yes.
Hey, this is fun.
Or
yeah.
Or next week we'll find out that he was sexting some
A moose.
a
A
moose.
moose.
Yeah, he was sexting
A moose.
and
A moose. A
the
moose.
polls will go
Yeah.
down, and turns out the moose was actually working for the copper mine, but that's not going to get publicly disclosed until after the election. Okay. All right. Well, anyone else? Okay. I mean, that's all I got. You guys have anything else to say? Lucy, you want to plug anything?
Oh, well, you could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Steinbag, and you can also listen to my podcast with Ray Kump. It's called Our Love Is Disgusting, and it's back, baby.
Oh yeah.
Downloading it now.
You can find
Based on
that
the title.
wherever your podcasts are potted.
Yes.
Very exciting. What's the first episode about? Is it about disgusting things?
Yes. When on our comeback episode, we last week we talked about what did we talk about? It was a week ago at this point, but it's like we talked about our kind of like filthy quarantine habits, and it's like how we've been surviving together as a couple under lockdown, and then we also talked about I gotta ask. What did we talk about? I have a terrible memory. We talked about getting fired from old jobs.
Nice.
I got drunk when I was 16 at my first busser job at a restaurant.
Hell yeah.
Got drunk on the job and got fired. You can hear that story.
That sounds good. If you want to be in a
yeah.
throuple with Lucy and her live-in boyfriend,
That's basically the experience.
Nice.
that sounds good. And Gabe, what's up with you?
Sick. You guys can check out my other podcast, Eat, Pray, Judge. And that's just like a meat and potatoes movie review podcast. It's pretty sexy. We always have a different guest comedian on the show. And every Wednesday night, I have a Zoom comedy show, Funhouse Comedy, with my co-host Samir Nasim, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Things are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're out here thriving in
Hell
the
yeah.
pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, baby.
You know, my embroidery machine is coming in the mail today. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. You can follow me there on my
Hashtag
embroidery.
restaurant.
On my embroidery. Follow me on my embroidery machine. Yeah.
Tip Danny,
You'll-
everyone. Tip Danny if he's your bike messenger. Tip
Yeah,
him.
and for God's sakes, people, you don't need that much soda. For God's sakes.
You sound like
I get
Bloomberg
it.
over here.
Look, I'm a soda fascist. All right. Look, I fully admit it's like, well, you want to get McDonald's, you want to get a meal, that's fine. That's fine. You want to get a 32-ounce soda with your meal, that's fine. I'm putting at it a solid 75% that your soda gets to your house, because otherwise it's just gonna go in my bag and fucking right as I'm about to deliver it, fall out, which happened last week. All right.
Gross. Okay, so did we do enough to? Was this sexy episode on municipalities sexy, guys? Did we do okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Incredibly sexual.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, we sprinkled some sea salt and olive oil on this dry loaf of bread. Made it palatable.
All right. Well, this has been Ponzi Scream. Thanks very much, guys. Take care.
All right, bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.